Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm just here to bring you my latest junk journal. I've actually come prepared for once and I have remembered my tape measure. So the size of this one is 6.5 by 9 inches and it is about 4.5 inches at the widest part. And obviously, you know, that is kind of squashed in a little bit due to the closure. So it's actually probably even wider than that kind of ordinarily. Basically, it's a soft cover, one signature journal. It's made from an envelope. So it's obviously, you know, kind of flexible. The envelope on the outside has been covered in, first of all, scrapbook paper. It's all been distress inked and coffee dyed. It's then been layered up on the front with some vintage sheet music, some lace here, and then this vintage lace trim. This one's not vintage, this one is vintage lace trim. Bit of upholstery fabric, which is actually kind of a velour-y type thing, which I've just distress inked with my distress inks, obviously. And then I've got some again, vintage thesaurus page. This is actually dictionary page. This is from a book that they were kind of getting rid of at work recently. So I kind of nabbed that. And then this printable that I got from, I think it was from Pinterest. And then here I've got a verse from my book of verses from Laura that I opened kind of the beginning of this week. So I'll show you that kind of in more detail in a moment. I've got a fabric flower that I made. I've just ruffled up some kind of satiny fabric, some organza, some other kind of faux satiny fabric, some vintage lace, and then this is some of that pink lace that Laura gifted me. I've just distress inked that as well. And then I've got this gorgeous gem kind of in the centre. Just got a bit of gems here, kind of, or faux diamante here. And a little bit of ribbon and lace trim there. It holds shut with some ribbon, some lace, and that's actually held on underneath the lace that's covering over the stitching of the signature. On the back it's just plain, other than the scrapbook paper, some more vintage sheet music, and some of this lace trim down the side. It's been, all the paper has been Mod Podged for kind of a bit more durability, I suppose. So going in, it just obviously ties closed, and the ribbon or the lace is obviously attached here, so stays on. Yeah, so this is kind of one of the verses from my lovely vintage verse book. I won't read that to you, but I mean, if you're interested, you could maybe possibly see that on the video. And then going inside, so the front, there is actually a massive pocket here from the envelope. I have left it empty, but obviously it's huge in there. So you could get plenty of bits and bobs, photos, notes, letters, you know, tickets, whatever kind of in there. So that's really good size. The one at the back is closed. I have just left the front one open. So on the inside of the front cover, I've got scrapbook paper. I've then got a lace pocket here and a fabric ruffle down the bottom and a bow down here. I've got a cluster in the corner, which actually is also a tuck spot, although I haven't got anything under there, but you could kind of also tuck a tag or something under there. But these are a bit like the clusters that have been included in some of my recent kits. So that's one of those. And then here inside the pocket, I have got basically a, what do you call these? A wage envelope, which I have stuck an image on, layered up on some other paper, and then stamped around the edges, distress inked the whole thing, put some more coffee dyed paper on the back for journaling, and I've just put a little journaling card in there that pulls out. That just goes in there. And then on the facing page, I've got here a double corner pocket, which is just layered up scrapbook papers. I've got a stamped image that I've just cut kind of in half. Got some vintage lace trim across the top. That's just been glued onto the page. And then I've also made another one of those gorgeous flowers. This one's slightly different to the one on the cover, and it's just layered up various different fabrics, including the lace that Laura had gifted me, which I've just distress inked up, and then I just pearl center. So inside the first corner pocket, there's just a tag that I've made here with just some of the coordinating scrapbook paper, and it's just got a journaling spot there, some vintage sheet music, and the word beautiful that I've just stamped there onto some buff coloured card. The back's just plain there for journaling. That just goes in there. And then in the back of the corner pocket there is a little booklet, which on the front I've just layered up some bits and bobs. I've layered up with some greaseproof paper, and then some other paper and a postcard. And I've just stapled in a few coffee dyed pages with my new Tim Holtz stapler, again gifted to me by Laura, so loving that stapler, thank you Laura. So that goes in there. Then on the next page here, I've got more of that gorgeous vintage, I mean, I'm calling it lace, I guess it would be referred to as lace, but it's kind of crocheted lace anyway, down there. And then here I've got a kind of large flap which tucks in behind this butterfly, which has been layered up with some kind of sheer organza kind of fabric. And then this just lifts up like this. I'm just trying not to move too much because somebody did actually say that kind of, you know, they were feeling a little bit kind of seasick watching my videos sometimes because I move the books around too much. So I'm trying to kind of not move around quite so much. Please let me have your thoughts below. If I'm now kind of making the videos really slow and boring, you know, please let me know that too. Anyway, this kind of folds up here, and it's just left plain for journaling. It's got a little stamped image there, and obviously some more of that coffee dyed scrapbook paper, and that's just slots in neatly there behind this little butterfly with the organza fabric. And then here on this page, again some coffee dyed scrapbook paper, and then I've got a belly band. I've just got a little postcard image there backed onto just some coffee dyed paper. And I've also got a little envelope, and inside there I've just got, this was actually a vintage book, which actually I've got a couple of images coming up inside this book, this journal from the book. So I might try and grab the book and show you the book at the end of the video, because it was a really nice book. And what was quite fascinating, the pages were really thick. I mean, it was practically like cardstock for the pages. So I just took one of the pages that was quite plain on one side, and it did have text on the other, and I've obviously just stuck my stamped image over the top of the text, so then the back is kind of plain for journaling. And I just obviously cut that to fit inside my kind of handmade envelope there, and that just slots in there. This was one of my new stamps from the Crafty Individuals, just thought she looked quite nice there. And then I've just obviously glued on a ruffle of, again, some vintage lace and a little organza bow that I made down there. I'm just going to take this postcard and actually pop it in this tuck spot up there. And then going over the page, here I've just got a fold down kind of flip here. Oops. Oops, I have actually damaged that now, so I'll have to try and repair that in some way. I'm not quite sure how I will do that, but that just folds down here like that, and obviously lots of space in there for journaling, and that just tucks in behind there, and you've got just a vintage typewriter image there. And then here just got stamps in the corner, and here is some of those coffee filters again that Laura had sent me, and I've just layered them up onto a flower onto them with a little pearl center. And then tucked in here it's also a pocket, and I've just made a little kind of flip kind of book just with some coffee dyed sheets and some vintage music sheets there. That just goes in like that. Then I've just left a couple of plain kind of coffee dyed papers just for journaling. Then I've got here paper clipped on with an altered paper clip, just got a stamp and a little butterfly image and some lace and some faux diamante trim. and that's holding on this really large tag that I've made. And this again, what I've tried to do is kind of use items. Basically, I made a kit just like the ones that I have been selling recently, and I'm using the items kind of from that particular kit, and then obviously I've kind of just, you know, added them to a journal with what I think are quite nicely coordinating papers. So obviously the kit consisted of these, you know, this paper, and I have added it to these other papers, which I thought coordinated nicely, just to kind of give you an idea of how the kits kind of would work in your journals, I suppose, really. So this is one of the large tags that I made that would have kind of been sold as part of a kit, and it's got here a belly band across the front and a tiny weeny tag that just slots into the belly band, and then it's just got layered up elements and a butterfly there with a bit of net and some lace across the top, and that just clips onto, oops, it clipped onto here actually, this coffee dyed paper here, so that just clips on like that. And then over the page I left it plain for journaling. You've got some doily, another plain page there, and then plain page here just with a bit of lace trim down there. And then here on this page I've got a belly band, some lace and some stitched kind of ruffly fabric, and I've layered them both up with some faux diamante there, and then this kind of image in the middle. I've put a printable here from Pinterest and this stamped image of some sheet music and a little tiny frame. And then again I've just made a little folding booklet just with a few pages, and that's just been stapled together in the middle, and that just slots in like that for more kind of journaling space. And then here going over the page, this was one of the images from the vintage book that I just kind of mentioned. Excuse me, I just knocked the camera. From the book that I mentioned, the story on this particular story was called Masquerade, and I thought this image was rather lovely. So what I've done is, again, loving kind of tying things up at the moment, as I've said before. So this is an envelope. I have layered, well, not really layered, I've just put this image from the book onto the envelope, stamped some details onto the envelope. The envelope's been coffee dyed. I've popped one of my butterflies that I like making with the faux diamante there, and then the envelope flips open. Inside the envelope there is just a printable that's been coffee dyed. That just goes in there, but obviously you've got more room in there to put other things. And then I've made just a folding little booklet here, just with these are the blank book pages, you know, that you get when you kind of get a new book, the couple of pages that are blank. This one's got a little bit of text, just the acknowledgements, but other than that it's blank. And then I've just glued it down here, and obviously the flap of the envelope, and that just all shuts and then obviously ties closed, and then it's just got a fabric ruffle down the side and some faux diamante trim there. So I thought that kind of worked quite well, because it's almost like another page in your journal that kind of wasn't stitched in, so a bit of a kind of bonus one. So I probably use that technique again. And then here, this would be another item obviously that would be included in one of my kits. So again, a little cluster here and some faux diamante, a little frame. And I've just used that as a tuck spot up here. I've just put a fabric ruffle down the bottom and some faux diamante trim. And I've just used it as a tuck spot there for a little image that just goes in like that. So then on this page, this is the back of that, and I've just left that plain for journaling, just with a stamped image in the corner. Here's some more plain pages here with just a little layered up fabric and lace and some faux pearl trim, I suppose. And that's just on that page. Obviously the back just coffee dyed. And then here just some greaseproof paper, and I've just glued on this image, which was a printable that I thought went quite nicely with my colourway here. And then I've just got some sheet music, and again another kind of blank sheet for journaling. Then on this page I have just got a corner pocket here, and then this was kind of some more of the paper, so I just kind of used this here. I've just stuck on here just these are again another couple of the new stamps that I got from Crafty Individuals. I think I got 5 different stamps from them, and And they're quite versatile because you can cut the individual elements out. So this lady, she's kind of part of a bigger stamp, kind of similar to this. And obviously I just have cut her out, fussy cut her out and stuck her on there. I thought she looks quite nice there. And then this just corner pocket here. And that's just got a couple of tags that I've made, held with this, I'm not sure what you would call this, whether this is kind of ball chain or something. And it's got one of those funny things, you know, that you kind of attach it. And then it's obviously attached to a much smaller tag there, just for kind of interest. It's got some Diamante trim and a little postcard and some sheet music. That just goes in there. And then I've just got a fabric ruffle at the top. And now this is the centre of the signature. And I've got on this side, I thought this paper was quite nice on its own, sorry. It was part of the double-sided scrapbook paper. I thought it was quite lovely paper and quite busy. So I didn't want to kind of overdo it with embellishments, but having said that, you know, I wanted to do something. So I made here, again with one of those wage envelopes, a little kind of coin pocket, which I've layered up some decoupage napkin of the Eiffel Tower with some scrapbook paper and some ribbon here that I've just tied around it to make a little bow. And then I've put the thumb hole. I really like those. I have heard people say that not everybody does, but I really like them. So I've kind of popped that on there. And then I've made a little tag just to go in there, just layered things up on here, and stamped some details around it and popped some lace trim across the top. And that just slots in like that. And then I've got some of that lovely vintage lace trim down the side and some faux diamante down there. And then I've just got a kind of net kind of flower there and a pearl trim. And then on this side of the page, I've just got a pocket here from this kind of folding flip. I've got doily there. So this actually folds out and obviously provides quite a bit of room for journaling. That just goes in like that. And then this one, it's just got some vintage lace that's been coffee dyed. It's got one of those butterfly images that just literally is holding this closed, and that just folds down. And it's just got some sheets of coffee dyed paper for journaling in there. And I quite liked the fact that this actually kind of coordinates with the actual paper itself of the page, because actually once it's open, it's kind of almost camouflaged. So I thought that was quite nice and quite liked that. So that just tucks in. And then going over the page, I have then just got some lace trim across the top and some fabric ruffle down here, some more faux diamante. And then I have got here a little envelope that I've made and stitched on the sewing machine and held shut with just a paper clip with some lace on there. It's got some layered up flowers. It's all been distress inked, and when you lift that, you then have a fold out kind of flap there, which is hiding a journaling spot. And also inside the envelope there is another kind of journaling card there that just goes in like that. Oops. Oh, I'm always saying this, I can't do things quick enough on camera. So that's that, and kind of that's how that works, which I quite like, kind of hidden bits like that. And then I've got some more doily behind there, and that again is a pocket. So another one of those little fold out booklets, just like that. That just goes in there. And then I've got just some plain coffee dyed paper with some lace ruffle, the other side of that sheet music, some other side of the greaseproof paper, and I've just put some of that little bridal lace down there with the kind of sequins. I'm just going to raise this slightly more actually, with the sequins down there. And then obviously that's plain. And then here on this page I've just got again another one of the items that would have been included in the kit, as a tuck spot there on the side. So again, that's how kind of that would work, or you know, one of my clustery things would work in your journals. And I've got some fabric ruffle down the bottom, and then I've just made a tag here, layered up some elements and stamped here a little image there, and again used that coffee filter and a little flower, and that's just plain on the back for journaling. That just slots behind there like that. And then going over the page, This was the first page that I actually did in the journal. I don't know about you guys, but I'm quite random and kind of sometimes can't get a page to come together. So I just flick to and forth and kind of do the pages that I fancy doing at the time. So this was the first page that I did, was my favourite page, which weirdly often is the case that the first page I do is my favourite. But actually, I think maybe the back inside cover has surpassed this, but you know, you can let me know in comments below what's your favourite. So here I've got a printable that I got, I think, from Pinterest again, and I've layered it up on again some of that vintage dictionary page, and then I popped it on an envelope which I just stamped up, distress inked, and again put the thumb hole. Got some more of that vintage lace trim and some more of the faux de monte. I just think the colours on that page just look really stunning. Yeah, just love it. And I love that image. It's just gorgeous. Inside the envelope, I have got here just a tag that I made, just layering up different elements, and a little butterfly on there, and a little one of my tiles at the top, and some lace trim. And on the back, it's just got some stamped images. Other than that, it's kind of plain. So that just slots in at the top like that. And then on the facing page, which again I also really loved, I've just made one of these kind of, it's not a coin envelope, but sorry, policy envelope, but it's got that wind around, I don't know what you call this, but wind around fastening anyway. So it just opens out, and it's just got again a little bit of coffee dyed paper there for journaling. And then it's just got a stamped image, some greaseproof paper, some more faux de monte, and then it just hooks shut with the string. So again, a bit with my obsession with tying things, I guess winding it around, it's kind of similar. And then here I've just got a quote here from, again, a stamped image, Emily Dickinson quote. So again, you know, hopefully you can kind of read that if you wanted to. And then there's a butterfly up here with a little bit of faux de monte up there. And then this is also a little pocket, and inside there I thought matched quite nicely because it picks up the corset kind of theme. I've just got a fold out kind of flip, and I've done a few of these lately with the image in the middle and then kind of folded out either side, which I kind of think works quite nicely and a bit different to the conventional always stamping on the front, you know. So yeah, quite a bit of kind of extra journaling space in there. And that just tucks in on the side. And then on the back of that page, I've got similar to the second page where I had the double pocket, but this time it's a double tuck spot up the top. So I've just got layered up scrapbook paper, and then I've got some vintage lace trim, some faux de monte, a little tiny bow at the side. And then here I've got another one of those quotes from the Emily Dickinson, it's the same quote, but I just thought that looked rather nice down there. And that's acting as a pocket here for this calendar, which on the back is plain for just journaling, so that just slots in like that. Got some fabric ruffle and some faux de monte there. And then I've just got a printable that just slots up there. And you know how I love those postcards, just can't resist using them. So I've just literally stamped that onto some coffee dyed cardstock, and then I've backed it onto some scrapbook paper that's also coffee dyed. That just tucks up there. Then some blank pages for journaling, the other bit of the doily. And then turning this page, there is another altered paper clip, this time just with some other scrapbook paper, some lace, a little butterfly and some de monte on the butterfly. And another tag here, which again would have been included in the kit. And it's just got layered up elements. It's got a frame and a butterfly. And then the back is just plain buff coloured card, just for journaling there. So that just paper clips on, like that. And then going over the page here, I've just got one of those fold down flips again. And this is quite light coloured kind of on the other side of the scrapbook paper, so I just kind of left it plain for journaling, and that just folds down like that. It's got some lace trim across there, a little bit of sheet music, and it's just got one of my chipboard tiles there that's just held on with one of those bulb pins there. And then I've just left it as a pocket for this printable. That just slots in like that. And then a little kind of pad here. But again, I've just kind of stapled that and obviously put some lace across the top. And it's just got a stamped image up there. And then here on this page, we've got, again, another one of the items that would have come in the kit. So this one is a cluster that, again, I've used as a corner pocket, but on the bottom. And that's just got a little tag behind it with some decoupage napkin. Just got this image here that I've just kind of stuck down and some lace trim down the side of the page. I hope it's not kind of too dark on here. It's really hard to tell sometimes, kind of, I mean, obviously, I'm not sure what the time is, but it's about 4:30, I think, and it is getting quite darkish, you know, dim light. So I'm hoping it's kind of okay, but obviously, you know, it's hard to tell on the camera sometimes. On this page, I've got basically the reverse flap of an envelope, and I've got another cluster item here, which obviously this wouldn't have come with the kit, but what I wanted to do was kind of see how I would expand one of my kits, kind of, you know, if I had bought one. So basically the papers that I decided to use together with the kind of paper line, I just made kind of a similar looking cluster and kind of feel it tones and looks really fine. So that's got a frame there and May All Your Dreams Come True. Got some fabric ruffle and some faux de monte there, and that's acting as a little tuck here for this tag, which would have been part of the kit. Again, it's got one of those huge gems at the top. Love, love, love those. Some of this vintage lace that's been coffee dyed, that gorgeous crafty individuals stamped image. This was what obviously the fussy cut woman where she was from that I had used earlier in the journal. And a couple of the Martha Stewart butterflies just kind of layered up there. And it's just covered onto buff coloured card and got a couple of stamped images in the corner. That just goes in there. And then this one, this was the page that I think became my new favourite, which I'll kind of show you in a moment. This was another image from the vintage book that I mentioned with the super thick pages. So I literally kind of obviously cut that out of the book. I have covered up this corner because this corner was actually kind of text where the obviously story started. So I covered it up with another kind of cluster that I just quickly made. And then I have held the envelope shut with this paper clip, which was one of the ones that Laura gifted me. So thank you, Laura, because I thought that went really nicely with this journal. And this envelope obviously is glued down on the other side from the flap. So when you move turn the envelope like that, it's all been coffee dyed. Inside the envelope, I've just got a printable, again, that's been coffee dyed. That just goes in there. And then I've just got here a piece of vintage sheet music, the Rainbow Man. Sorry, my camera flicked off there, which it seems to keep doing recently, so I apologise. Yes, so anyway, vintage sheet music, and that's that. That just literally was kind of tucked in with the paper clip, and then that side is plain for journaling, so I would just clip that back. And then this is now the inside cover of the back cover, which I love this page and just think it looks so pretty. I love this coloured Hessian that again was gifted to me by Laura. We don't get this here, or I certainly haven't seen this here. And I have used coloured Hessian before that I have painted, but it's pretty tedious process kind of painting it. So to have some that was kind of coloured already was amazing. I've got some faux de monte trim down the bottom, some of the vintage lace across the top. I have obviously glued it onto the page to form a pocket. I've put this printable here, layered up on some book page. And again, I've made one of these gorgeous fabric flowers with the lace and things that Laura gave me and some other fabric that I had. I've distressed it all and put this gorgeous Diamante centre on there. Just stamped around. Love that page, just really love it. I think I just love it because of the diamante in the flower, really. And then I've just got a printable here that just slots in like that. And then I've also just got, again with my obsession with tying things, just one of these little tie up. Oh gosh, I really should stop tying things because I'm no good at untying them or tying them back up on camera. So the string is obviously just glued across the back, and it's got one of my chipboard tiles on the front that I've just glossy accented, and it just folds like that. You know, that you could journal inside or kind of stick pictures in, or, you know, however you wanted to use it really. I think it would be quite nice for photos, to be honest, to be stuck in there. But, you know, however the owner would like to use it really. So, yeah. So I hope that you weren't too bored. I feel that maybe I went on a bit too long because I was trying not to move around so much and trying to kind of go slower when I was moving. That just made my video even longer than ever. Let me know what you think. So hope you liked it anyway. So this will be on my Etsy store, kind of hopefully to coincide with the video going up. Hopefully I'll kind of photograph it and list it shortly. Yeah, so hope that you liked it, and give us a thumbs up if you did. If you're interested in seeing the book, I can quickly grab it, but obviously feel free to tune out if I'm now boring you even more, because I know that this has been pretty long already. But this was basically the book that I took those couple of images from. The Ideal Book for Girls. And I mean, it's mainly text, I have to say, but I just had to buy it for just the odd few images that were in it, because they're really nice. And because these super thick pages, I've never really seen thick pages like this. But it was just lovely. I couldn't see a copyright date. But on here it's got some scribble to Muriel from Dad, maybe that says. Can't read what the rest says, but I think that says 1926, something like that. I actually can't really read that properly. Maybe somebody else can see that better than I can, and maybe they could inform me. Anyway, I just wanted to show this because I just thought, what a fascinating book, just with those really thick pages. So yeah, and some really nice images. So yeah, anyway, I'm going to go now because I'm sure that I've taken up enough of your time. So thanks ever so much for watching, and you know, yeah, tune in next time. So thanks very much. Hope you have a great evening. Thanks a lot. Bye.